Blessings, love, and peace to those called according to his purpose. I'll be back. I gotta piss. Oh. All right. Hola. Two likes, some hearts. Can somebody let me know if the sound's working properly, though? Otherwise, those must be some fake hearts. Let me know if the sound's working properly. Ooh. Okay. Somebody let me know if the sound's working properly out of 11 people. All right, let's start with some hi, this person says. Right, is my sound working properly? Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You're Mexican. Hablo un poco de español. Could you let me know if my sound's working properly? Oops. Adriana, you come here for a sec? Oh, what a beautiful house. This is a storage room. Okay, so this Mexican does. How do you say? Could you let me know if my sound's working properly in Espanol?
Sonido.
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 What? Here, you tell him. Tell him. Let me know if my sound's working properly in Espanol.
Hay sonido. Escuchan.
Israel.
Israel.
Israel. Go.
Go. Escuchan.
They're not.
Escuchan.
Yeah, they're not letting me know if my sounds work properly. Oh,
Yo no.
free fake likes. As if that's what I'm talking about. All right. So we're gonna read some Proverbs 9. Oh, because I was relieved to learn more about the seven spirits, and so one thing I could tell you about understanding is it's not calling me to understand worldly shit and worldly ways, Egyptian ways, jacked up ways, carnal ass ways, people wanting to have swag and make it look good ways. Part of it's here in Proverbs 9. We're going to go through some other scriptures because I wanted to go through seven spirits individually. Kind of pay forward some gleanings for those who would care, hoping, and that I don't really, with how whatever kind of weird audience is shown up here lately that won't even let me know if my sound's working properly. I don't really care about the audience. I'd love to encounter more, especially target individual or something that actually wants to sharpen iron, and get these gleanings forth to others. So Proverbs 9. Wisdom has built her house. She has hewn out her 7 pillars. And I think I had shared before already that I think this connects with Deuteronomy 7. She has slaughtered her meat. She has mixed her wine. She has also furnished her table. She has sent out her maidens. She cries out from the highest places of the city. Whoever is simple, let him turn in here. As for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, come eat of my bread and drink of the wine I have mixed. Forsake foolishness and live, and go in the way of understanding. Come eat of my bread and drink of the wine I have mixed. That reminds me of getting the tabernacle ready, getting the tent and meeting ready. That's interesting because there would be bread and wine within there, and you wouldn't want to be eating that in darkness. You would want the 7 lampstand menorah lit. You'd want to do things decently and in order, right? Speaking of that, when I was studying the 7 spirits, I had only really gotten so far because I think there's I started studying a little bit more about the altar, what that would mean spiritually, like to slaughter my will at the altar, and thinking if I also paying some of this forward, maybe I'd get a clearer picture of what the scriptures are saying about this. But praise Yah for anything I do or say right, He who corrects a scoffer gets shame for himself, and he who rebukes a wicked man only harms himself. Do not correct a scoffer lest he hate you. Rebuke a wise man and he will love you. Give instruction to a wise man and he will be still wiser. Teach a just man and he will increase in learning. That kind of helps me there, what it said there, because I've had a problem like being stressed out from people that I've tried to reason with multiple times over the course of enough years now, and it's clear that some of them are just not listening. And how much can you help a person if they're not going to listen to something that was revealed, right? That is true. That does spark up some indignation, right? That you have life-saving message for them, and they're just not going to hear it, right? So this kind of tells me that I haven't been wrong in ignoring that sort of person. Like there's All right, well, here we go. The fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom. We talked about that just recently there. And the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. For by me your days will be multiplied, and years of life will be added to you. If you are wise for yourself, and if you scorn, you will bear it alone. A foolish woman is clamorous, she is simple and knows nothing, for she sits at the door of her house. Remember Psalms 141, on a seat by the highest places of the city, to call to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. You want to stay on the straight way. Whoever is simple, let him turn in here. And as for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. So this is like counterfeit wisdom saying this, right? You know, so you wouldn't want to be eating and drinking in darkness, right? If your eye be single, the whole body would be full of light. But if the light within you is darkness, how great that darkness is. But he does not know that the dead are there, that her guests are in the depths of hell. So that was Proverbs 9. Proverbs 8 and 9 are really big, you know, touching on the seven spirits. So go read those. Oh, oh my goodness. I'm in it's not that long. Well, maybe yeah, you remember. Oh yeah, you know. Remember me and visit me and take vengeance for me on my persecutors. In your enduring patience, do not take me away. Know that for your sake I have suffered rebuke. Your words were found and I ate them, and your word was to me the joy and rejoicing of my heart. For I am called by your name, Exodus 3, O Yah of hosts. I did not sit in the assembly of the mockers, nor did I rejoice. I sat alone because of your hand, for you have filled me with indignation. Why is my pain perpetual and my wound incurable, which refuses to be healed? Will you surely be to me like an unreliable stream as waters that fail? Yah reassures Jeremiah. Therefore, thus says Yah, if you return, then I will bring you back. You shall stand before me. If you take out the precious from the vial, you shall be as my mouth. Let them return to you, but you must not return to them. And I'll make you to this people a fortified bronze wall, and they will fight against you, but they shall not prevail against you. For I am with you to save you, Exodus 3, and deliver you, says Yah. I'll deliver you from the hand of the wicked, and I'll redeem you from the grip of the terrible. Jeremiah 15 is interesting. For Yah gives, we're in Proverbs chapter 2 now. For Yah gives wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk uprightly. He guards the paths of justice and preserves the way of his saints. Then you will understand righteousness and justice, equity, and every good path. When wisdom enters your heart and knowledge is pleasant to your soul, discretion will preserve you, understanding will keep you, to deliver you from the way of evil, from the man who speaks perverse things, from those who leave the paths of uprightness, to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice in doing evil and delight in perversity of the wicked, whose ways are crooked and who are devious in their paths, to deliver you from the immoral woman, from the seductress who flatters with her words, who forsakes the companion of her youth and forgets the covenant of her God. For her house leads down to death and her paths to the dead. None who go to or return nor regain the paths of life, so that you may walk in the way of goodness and to the paths of righteousness. For the upright will dwell in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the earth, and the unfaithful will be uprooted from it. Somebody want to let me know if the sound's working properly, eh? Shoot me some scripture. If people came to secretly hate, they could at least bring a sword, you know? What do we have here? All right, let's go to Jeremiah 9. Thus says Yah, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, let not the mighty man glory in his might, nor let the rich man glory in his riches, but let him who glories glory in this, that he understands and knows me, that I am Yah, exercising loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these I delight, says Yah. This is from Jeremiah 9. And then also who is the wise man who understand this, and who is he to whom the mouth of Yah has spoken, that he may declare it? Why does the land perish and burn up like a wilderness, so that no one can pass through? And this is one of the chapters in Jeremiah 4-9, talking about Jerusalem's destruction. That's important to note too. And Yah said, because they have forsaken my law, which I set before them, and have not obeyed my voice, nor walked according to it, but they have walked according to the dictates of their own hearts, and after the Baals, which their fathers taught them. Therefore says Yah of hosts, Yah of Israel, behold, I will feed this people with wormwood, and give them water of gall to drink. I will scatter them also among the Gentiles, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, and I will send a sword after them until I have consumed them. And what I remember, wormwood makes them bitter, eh? Jeremiah 23. For who has. Oh. Let's read this whole chapter because this. I've read the whole thing before. It's just. The plot surely does thicken, so I want to see, like. What we could glean here reading this now. As it's a warning to the false shepherds, Jeremiah 23 and Ezekiel 34. And from what I remember, it's these are some that you'd really want to read in the Septuagint too. Woe to the shepherds who destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, says Yah. And evidently there's a lot of ways people could do that, right? Therefore, thus says Yah of Israel against the shepherds who feed my people, you have scattered my flock, driven them away, and not attended to them. Behold, I will attend to you for the evil of your doings, says Yah. But I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all the countries where I have driven them, and bring them back to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. I will set up shepherds over them who will feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, nor shall they be lacking, says Yah. Behold, the days are coming, says Yah, that I'll raise to David a branch of righteousness. A king shall reign and prosper and execute judgment and righteousness in the earth. In his days, Judah will be saved, and Israel will dwell safely. Now this is his name by which he will be called, Yah, righteousness. Therefore, behold, the days are coming, says Yah, that they shall no longer say, as Yah lives, who brought up the children of Israel from the land of Egypt, but as Yah lives, who brought up and led the descendants of the house of Israel from the north country and from all the countries where I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. Some second Exodus language there. My heart within me is broken because of the prophets. All my bones shake. I am like a drunken man, and like a man whom wine has overcome, and because of his holy word, the wilderness are dried up. Their course of life is evil, and their might is not right. For both prophet and priest are profane. Yes, in my house I have found their wickedness, says Yah. Therefore their ways shall be to them like slippery ways. In the darkness they shall be driven on and fall in them. For I will bring disaster on them the year of their punishment, says Yah. And I have seen folly in the prophets of Samaria. They prophesied by Baal and caused my people Israel to err. Also I have seen a horrible thing in the prophets of Jerusalem. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They also strengthen the hands of evildoers, so that no one turns back from his wickedness. All of them are like Sodom to me, and her inhabitants like Gomorrah. Therefore, thus says Yah of hosts concerning the prophets, behold, I will feed them with wormwood, and make them drink the water of gall. For from the prophets of Jerusalem profaneness has gone out into all the land. Thus says Yah of hosts, do not listen to the words of the prophets who prophesy to you. They make you worthless. They speak a vision of their own heart, not from the mouth of Yah. They continually say to those who despise me, Yah has said, you shall have peace. And to everyone who walks according to the dictates of his own heart, they say, no evil shall come upon you. For who has stood in the counsel of Yah and has perceived and heard his word? Who has marked his word and heard it? Behold, a whirlwind of Yah has gone forth in fury, a violent whirlwind. It will fall on the head of the wicked. The anger of Yah will not turn back until he has executed and performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days, you will understand it perfectly. That's on the head in the whirlwind. Reminds me of the fiery coals on some's heads, causing them to weep and gnash. The call was Isaiah 6 uh, to those who are outside. Somewhere marked there. I want to get that for whoever actually would be taking sword sharpening seriously here. Mark chapter 4. To you it has been given to know the mystery of the kingdom of Yah, but to those who are outside, all things come in parables, so that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, lest they should turn and their sins be forgiven them. Right? Understanding knowledge of the Holy One could even piece your broken being back together, and you could heal. Right? And if you won't watch yourself, if you're continually outside, because where's the kingdom? Right? If you're all focused on others, you don't focus enough on yourself, though, right? So you go to Isaiah 6, and a fiery coal, right, touches the prophet's tongue. The iniquities purged away. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And you have a lot of people that won't watch themselves, so they're not going to watch their mouth either. And then the fear of Yah teaches to hate pride and arrogance, evil way, and the perverse tongue. And there will be a perverse tongue with those that won't watch themselves in their vessel. So out of even people that jumped in here, right, that would go right over their heads. Desafortunadamente. Is that Mexican still there? That's unfortunate, right? Desafortunadamente. You knew what I was saying, right? I just wanted you to let me know if the sound was working properly, right? People got to be weird because they don't watch themselves, right? They're concerned with having swag and making it look good. If it ain't good, though, it ain't good. And our Heavenly Father sees that, right? But there's a lot of people that they claim to know Him and love Him, but scripturally, it's shown that they hate Him, right? They hate the truth. They'll reject it. Okay. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. But if they had stood in my counsel, and I caused my people to hear my words, then they would have turned them from their evil way and from the evil of their doings. Am I, near at hand, says Yah, and not far off? Far off. Can anyone hide himself in secret places so I shall not see him, says Yah? Do I not fill heaven and earth, says Yah? I have heard what the prophets have said who prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. How long will this be in the heart of the prophets who prophesy lies? Indeed, they are prophets of the deceits of their own heart. There is a lot of that. Watch out for these chosen ones videos and stuff like prophetic word community, right? There's a lot of false prophets prophesying from familiar spirits. I kept having a brother come back to me and it's like, oh, how are they getting it right and stuff? It's like, because you're getting given over to a delusion if you keep watching them, They're speaking from familiar spirits. They aren't giving you a message from Yah, right? Don't be watching those kind of videos because you'll be causing problems for yourself and those you claim to love, who try to make my people forget my name by their dreams, which everyone tells his neighbor, as their fathers forgot my name for Baal. The prophet who has a dream, let him tell a dream, and he who has my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is the chaff to the wheat? Says Yah. Is not my word like a fire? Says Yah, and like a hammer that breaks the rock in pieces. There's something interesting about this that brother had helped me to see this. Because I hadn't thought about this, right? But when you sift wheat, right, the wheat going through a sift, right, the wheat and the chaff will fall, right? The chaff flies away, right? It'll reject what it knows is true, right? It'll go off, like, because I think a good example of that is like, people go and do things that they knew was like biblically wrong, right? Like they would go right ahead and start doing something like Christmas again or something, right? They knew it was wrong, so like, if they, that's like a chaff like thing. That seems kind of chafy, kind of shifty, right? Kind of flaky. That the wheat goes where it's supposed to go, right? The righteous would fall 7 times and certainly get up, and not be like the chaff that the wind blows away. So hold fast to what you know is true. Therefore, behold, I am against the prophets, says Yah, who steal my words, every one from his neighbor. Behold, I am against the prophets, says Yah, who use their tongues and say, he says, behold, I am against those who prophesy false dreams, says Yah, and tell them and cause my people to err by their lies and by their recklessness. Yet I did not send them or command them. Therefore they shall not profit this people at all, says Yah. So when these people or the prophet or the priest asks you, saying, what is the oracle of Yah? This New King James kind of changed this this verse, because this reminds me of what it said. Like I went to go warn the people in the Salvation Army Church a long time ago, and they had it like this. And this oracle word, I think, actually means watchman. It has something to do with watchman. In the regular King James, it says, what is the burden, right? So, yeah, they changed it in the New King James, it looks like. You shall then say to them, what oracle? I'll even forsake you, says Yah. And as for the prophet and the priest and the people who say the oracle of Yah, I will even punish that man in his house. Thus every one of you shall say to his neighbor and everyone to his brother, what has Yah answered and what has Yah spoken? And the oracle of Yah you shall mention no more. For every man's word will be his oracle. Yeah, makes more sense with the word burden, right? For you have perverted the words of the living Yah. Yah of hosts, our creator. Thus you shall say to the prophet, what has Yah answered you? And what has Yah spoken? But since you say the oracle of Yah, therefore thus says Yah, because you say this word, the oracle of Yah, and I have sent to you, saying, do not say the oracle of Yah. Yeah, word saying oracle, I'm used to it saying burden. Therefore, behold, I, even I, will utterly forget you and forsake you in the city that I gave you and your fathers, and will cast you out of my presence, and I'll bring an everlasting reproach upon you and a perpetual shame which shall not be forgotten. So, yeah, when it's saying burden, and then you don't want to be calling grace unmerited favor, right? Could be like unmerited conviction for some, right? That they'll get chastened accordingly if they're off task to make sure they get on task with Yah's will, right? That's because he chastens those he loves, right? But to adopt the worldly mindset of like do what thou wilt, right? You know, Just do whatever you want because the blood paid it all. That's off. That's kicked, isn't it? Anyways, let's continue on with this study. There's one person in here. There was 11 just a while ago. So that means that like 10 left because they didn't want to let me know if the sound was working properly. That's what it seems. Now, these are the words that Yah spoke concerning Israel and Judah. Oh, no. Okay, Jeremiah 30. The fierce anger of Yah will not return until he has performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days, you'll consider it. Jeremiah 30 is a really good scripture. If you're targeted, go and read it over and over and over again. If you have to, it might just click in place though. Like my brain's been pretty retarded, so you go read the whole chapter and let me know what you glean there. That and Isaiah 51. I ain't going to plead with you to let me know if the sound's working properly. I will plead with you, go and read those chapters. Please, please do that. Please. If you're covertly persecuted, go and read those chapters, and if they don't make sense to you, read them over and over and over and over again. And then start praying to know exactly what Yah wants you to do. All right. Psalms 119, verse, let's go from 25 here. My soul clings to the dust. Revive me according to your word. I have declared my ways, and you answered me. Teach me your statutes. Make me understand the way of your precepts, so shall I meditate on your wonderful works. My soul melts with heaviness. Strengthen me according to your word. Remove from me the way of lying and grant me your law graciously. I have chosen the way of truth. Your judgments I have laid before me. I cling to your testimonies, O Yah. Do not put me to shame. I'll run the course of your commandments, for you shall enlarge my heart. Praise Yah. Nehemiah 8, verse 8. So they read distinctly from the book in the law of Yah, and they gave the sense and helped them to understand the reading. Study to show yourself approved and to have your perceptive powers trained to distinguish right from wrong. Psalms 119 again. Your hands have made me and fashioned me. Give me understanding that I may learn your commandments. So understanding has to do with learning his commandments. Those who fear you will be glad when they see me, because I have hoped in your word. right? And Yahusha freed us from sacrificial law, right? So if you think about 613 commandments, when you think about commandments, you're going to the letter of the law, right? It is good to keep the 10 commandments and eat biblically clean. It's better to do that and also learn what that's calling you to do spiritually, right? Like learning in depth what it means to not be putting other mighty ones before Yah's face, for instance, or knowing what sorts of people your Heavenly Father doesn't want you to have anything to do with based on what you're not eating in regards to the Rainbow Covenant, right? So become spiritually minded and get a grasp, have your heart properly enlarged so that you can know, so that you can have these his commandments that he has for you truly written on your heart. Those who fear you will be glad when they see me, because I have hoped in your word. I know, that your judgments are right, and that in faithfulness you have afflicted me. Let I pray your merciful kindness be for me, be for my comfort according to your word. To your servant let your tender mercies come to me, that I may live. For your law is my delight. Let the proud be ashamed, for they treated me wrongfully with falsehood. But I will meditate on your precepts. Let those who fear you turn to me, those who know your testimonies. Let my heart be blameless regarding your statutes, that I may not be ashamed. Remember about the fear of Yah, right? What that is. Proverbs 8. Check out the last video, the one before this one there. I was going through some different scriptures that I had here, tying in with the. I want to go on like a side tangent as I had in here, because the understanding, right, about the abomination of desolation. Let the reader understand the abomination of desolation within the temple. When you're becoming spiritually minded as to, the internal realities of getting the temple ready, I wouldn't know exactly what that would be talking about in that regard. If you think you might, let me know. Right. I know you don't want your house left desolate, right? You want to you want your temple full of the true light. All right. And with many such parables, this is in Mark chapter 4 too. And with many such parables he spoke the word to them as they were able to hear it. But without a parable he did not speak to them, and when they were alone he explained all things to his disciples. I remember that saying plainly. Israel. But he was speaking of the temple of his body. Therefore, when he had risen from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this to them, and they believed the scriptures and the word which Yeshua had said. Now, when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover during the feast, many believed in his name when they saw the signs which he did. But Yahushua did not commit himself to them because he knew all men and had no need that anyone should testify of man, for he knew what was in man. Adriana, water. Can I get water? Adriel could come sit here for a bit as long as he's not gonna make a ruckus. You're not gonna make a ruckus. Help me read some Bible. Remember when he gave us Psalms 118 last time? It's a big praise, yeah. Hey, buddy. What are you doing? Colossians chapter 2. For I want you to know what a great conflict I have for you and those and for as many as have not seen my face in the flesh, that their hearts may be encouraged, being knit together in love and attaining to all riches. That's thank you. That their hearts may be encouraged, being knit together in love and attaining to all riches, so of the full assurance of understanding, to the knowledge of the mystery of Yah. Please, I'll plead with you about this too. Please look up the word mystery in Strong's Concordance here. And then, if I remember correctly, where it says the mystery of lawlessness or the mystery of iniquity, it's the same word, right? So, and yeah, it's interesting. Look up that word mystery. Of the full assurance of understanding, to the knowledge of the mystery of Yah, both of the Father and of Christ, in whom are hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. Sorry, I had burpitis there. And Colossians is an interesting book. It's had a huge part in waking me up more. You want me to read Colossians chapter 3? Okay. Israel wanted me to read Colossians chapter 3. He helped us get Psalms 118 the other day. Praise Yah for that. So we're going to read Colossians 3 now and see what we glean. If then you were raised with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ is sitting at the right hand of Yah. Set your mind on things above, not on things on the earth. For you died, and your life is hidden with Christ in Yah. When Christ, who is our life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory. Therefore, put to death your members which are on the earth: fornication, uncleanliness, passion, evil desire, and covetousness, which is idolatry. Because of these things, the wrath of Yah is coming upon the sons of disobedience, in which you yourselves once walked when you lived in them. But now you yourself are to put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy language out of your mouth. Do not lie to one another, since you have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, who is renewed in knowledge according to the image of him who created him, where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcised nor uncircumcised, barbarian, Scythian, slave nor free, but Yahusha is all and in all. Therefore, as the elect of Yah, holy and beloved, put on tender mercies, kindness, humility, meekness, long suffering, bearing with one another, and forgiving one another if anyone has a complaint against you. Even as Yeshua forgave you, so you also must do. But above all these things, put on love, which is the bond of perfection, and let the peace of Yah rule in your hearts, to which also you were called in one body, and be thankful. Let the word of Yahusha dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to Yah. And whatever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of Yahusha, giving thanks to Yah the Father through him. Wives, submit to your own husbands as is fitting in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and do not be bitter toward them. Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing to Yah. Fathers, do not provoke your children, lest they become discouraged. Bondservants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasers, but in sincerity of heart, fearing Yah. And whatever you do, do it heartily as to Yah and not to men, knowing that from Yah you will receive the word of the inheritance, for you serve Yahusha. But he who does wrong will be repaid for what he has done, and there is no partiality. Where are you going? Did you want to go back out there? You're going to steal my shoes? Now we have received not the spirit of the world. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2. Okay. All right, I'm going to read from actually, this is a short chapter. I'm going to read the whole thing. Nobody's really listening right now anyway, so hopefully the few that would receive would check this out later here. And I, brethren, when I came to you, did not come with excellence of speech or of wisdom, declaring to you the testimony of Yah, for I determined not to know anything among you except Yeshua Christ and him crucified. I was with you in weakness, in fear, and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching were not with persuasive words of human wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power, that your faith should not be in the wisdom of men, but in the power of Yah. I am powerful. However, we speak wisdom among those who are mature, yet not the wisdom of this age, nor of the rulers of this age, who are coming to nothing, but we speak the wisdom of Yah in a mystery. Please look up that word in Strong's. The hidden wisdom which Yah ordained before the ages for our glory, which none of the rulers of this age knew, for had they known, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. But as it is written, eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor have entered into the heart of man the things which Yah has prepared for those who love him. But Yah has revealed them to us through his Spirit, for the Spirit searches all things, yes, the deep things of Yah. For what man knows the things of a man, except the spirit of the man which is in him? So this is why you would want to make sure to not be having any messengers of iniquity within your vessel, like Shepherd of Hermes was warning about. Even so, no one knows the things of Yah except the Spirit of Yah. And now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from Yah, that we might know the things that have been freely given to us by Yah. These things we also speak not in words which man's wisdom teaches, but which the Holy Spirit teaches, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. But the natural man does not receive the things of the Spirit of Yah, for they are foolishness to him, nor can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. But he who is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself is rightly judged by no one. For who has known the mind of Yah, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ. You wanted me to read 1 Corinthians 3 then? Huh? So cute. All right. And I, brethren, could not speak to you as to spiritual people, but as to carnal, as to babes in Christ. I fed you with milk and not with solid food. For until now you were not able to receive it, and even now you are still not able. For you are still carnal. For where there are envy, strife, and divisions among you, are you not carnal and behaving like mere men? For when one says, I am of Paul, and another, I am of Apollos, are you not carnal? Who then is Paul and who is Apollos, but ministers through whom you believed, as Yah gave to each one? I planted, Apollos watered, but Yah gave the increase. So then neither he who plants is anything, nor he who waters, but Yah who gives the increase. Now he who plants and he who waters are one, and each one will receive his own reward according to his own labor. For we are Yah's fellow workers, you are Yah's field, you are Yah's building, according to the grace of Yah, which was given to me as a wise master builder. I have laid the foundation, and another builds on it, but let each one take heed how he builds on it. For no other foundation can anyone lay than that which is laid, which is Yahusha. Now if anyone builds on this foundation with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, straw, each one's work will become clear, for the day will declare, because it will be revealed by fire, and the fire will test each one's work of what sort it is. If anyone's work which he has built on it endures, he will receive a reward. If anyone's work is burned, he will suffer loss, but he himself will be saved, yet as through fire. Do you not know that you are the temple of Yah, and the Spirit of Yah dwells in you? If anyone defiles the temple of Yah, Yah will destroy him. For the temple of Yah is holy, which temple you are. Let no one deceive himself. If anyone among you seems to be wise in this age, let him become a fool, that he may become wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with Yah. For it is written, he catches the wise in their own craftiness, and again, knows the thoughts of the wise, that they are futile. Therefore, let no one boast in men, for all things are yours, whether Paul or Apollos or Cephas or the world or life or death or things present or things to come, all are yours, and you are Christ, and Christ is God's. John 17. Got reminded of. Okay. Oh, what? Oh, we lost the place. I was flipping fast, and then you pointed somewhere. We're going to Deuteronomy 4 right now. Israel. Israel. What are you doing? Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Deuteronomy 4. All right. Therefore, be careful to. Okay. Let's read up a little bit here. We're in Deuteronomy 4. I'm going to read from the start for context here. Now, O Israel, listen to the statutes and the judgments which I teach you, and to observe, that you may live and go in and possess the land which of your fathers is giving you. You shall not add to the word which I command you, nor take from it, that you may keep the commandments of Yah your Creator, which I command you. Your eyes have seen what Yah did at Baal Peor. For Yah your Creator has destroyed from among you all the men who followed Baal at Peor. But you who held fast to Yah your Creator are alive today, every one of you. Surely I have taught you statutes and judgments, just as Yah my Creator commanded me, that you should act according to them in the land which you go to possess. Therefore be careful to observe them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the peoples, who will hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what great nation is there that has Yah so near to it as Yah our Creator is to us? For whatever reason we may call upon him. And what great nation is there that has such statutes and righteous judgments as are in all this law which I set before you this day? Only take heed to yourself and diligently keep yourself, lest you forget the things your eyes have seen, unless they depart from your heart all the days of your life, and teach them to your children and your grandchildren, especially concerning the day which you stood before Yah in Horeb, when Yah said to me, gather the people to me, and I will let them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they live on the earth, and that they may teach their children. And remember, Exodus 3 happened at Horeb too. And you came near and stood at the foot of the mountain burned with fire, to the midst of heaven with darkness, cloud, and thick darkness, and Yah spoke to you out of the midst of the fire. You heard the sound of the words, but saw no form. You only heard a voice. So he declared to you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform the 10 commandments, and he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. And Yah commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that you might observe them in the land which you cross over to possess. Whew. There's no form, so take care that you're not ascribing the likeness of a man, right, or a beast like Israel with the golden calf, right? Ascribing things a likeness to Yah. Considering that, it's good to go read, check out Jeremiah 10, Isaiah 46, and 1 Corinthians 11. Israel, okay, leave the shoe, okay, because it's holding up the phone. So, okay. Oh. You wanna go see mommy and your sister? Don't take my shoe. Well, you can take that shoe, but you're only taking one shoe because the other shoe's doing the job right now. Okay. Psalms 111, verse. Let's just read the whole thing again, quick here. I will praise Yah with my whole heart in the assembly of the upright and in the congregation. The works of Yah are great, studied by all who have pleasure in them. His work is honorable and glorious, and his righteousness endures forever. He has made his wonderful works to be remembered. Yah is gracious and full of compassion, and he has given food to those who fear him. He will be ever mindful of his covenant. He has declared to his people the power of his works in giving them the heritage of the nations. The works of his hands are veridity and justice. All his precepts are sure. They stand fast forever and ever and are done in truth and uprightness. He has sent redemption to his people. He has commanded his covenant forever. Holy and awesome is his name. The fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all those who do his commandments. His praise endures forever. No, Psalms 111. Proverbs 3. Trust in Yah with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, right? Don't fall for counterfeit wisdom. Don't fall for counterfeit understanding. Receive the true seven spirits. Hearken to messengers of righteousness, not messengers of iniquity. All right. Trust in Yah with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear Yah and depart from evil. It will be health to your flesh and strength to your bones. All right. Here's a fruit of understanding here, an important one. Proverbs 14 and verse 29. He who is slow to wrath has great understanding, but he who is impulsive exalts folly. I think this would have to do with waiting, right? Nakedness is like a lack of self-control. Wisdom has to do with having self-control. Waiting would have to do with watching, letting endurance have its work, right? Watching yourself, not overreacting, right? These things are very, very, very valuable to somebody that's covertly persecuted, if they would care enough to receive them. Ecclesiastes 7. Something in this one quickly, because yeah, I shared it before. I forget which video exactly it was, but when you see language about pots, like from like Romans 9, Isaiah 45, Ecclesiastes 7, I think Psalms 58 was one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Psalms 58. Because if you're going through a fiery refining trial, right, then chances are you're called according to his purposes, right, to be brought forth as a vessel fit for honorable use, right? What does go and watch a video on ancient pottery and see, like, how they made ancient pottery, add a bunch of briars and thorns basically to the firing process of the pot, right? Yahusha had a crown of thorns, right? Yeah, right. Okay, before your pots can feel the burning thorns, he shall take them away as with a whirlwind, as in his living and burning wrath, right? The righteous shall rejoice when he sees the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked, so that men will say, surely there is a reward for the righteous. Surely he is Yah who judges in the earth. So, Proverbs 9, you have a choice in the matter to be brought forth as a vessel fit for honorable use. Many are called, few chose to be chosen. And and then if you're aware of what's happening spiritually, then you're gonna watch and pray and endure not of your own strength and go through the refinement. Take the temporary to temporary. Don't be quick to wrath and overreacting, right? And Proverbs 7. I just wanted to share this quick for the sake of like people that are going through the ringers, right? But it's better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for man to hear the song of fools. For like the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This also is vanity. Surely oppression destroys a wise man's reason, and a bribe debases the heart. So that the crackling of the thorns under the pot, right? That trips me out too, because this servant seeks the lowest position, right? Let who is greatest be your servant, right? So if people are mocking and scoffing at you, right, and deliberately trying to take you down, then chances could be that they could be briars and thorns. Laughing, but in reality, spiritually, while they're laughing, they're crackling. They're crackling under the pot, and the pot's going to be brought forth for honorable use. Praise Yah. All right. I'm actually going to read something a little bit further down here. For like the crackling of thorns under the pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This also is vanity. Surely oppression destroys reason, and a bribe debases the heart. The end of the thing is better than the beginning. The patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. Do not hasten in your spirit to be angry, for anger rests in the bosom of fools. Do not say, why were the former days better than these? For you do not inquire wisely concerning this. Wisdom is good with an inheritance and profitable to those who see the sun. For wisdom is a defense as money is a defense, but the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom gives life to those who have it. All right. Another point on wisdom and understanding. I think I read this before too. All right. This is Job 28 and 28. And to man he said, behold, the fear of Yah, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. What fellowship could light have with darkness, right? Either you're in agreement with Yah's righteousness in spirit and in truth, in word and or in deed, or you're going through your refinement and deliverance processes, right? Or there's some, they are sold out to iniquity. They're not going to depart from it. So those are some gleanings regarding understanding. Has to do with keeping the commandments, departing from iniquity, knowledge of the Holy One, which reminds me of John 17, Exodus 3, Isaiah 52, the call to oneness, to walk in Yah's character, will, and authority and purposes, right? Seek what's broken, Yah takes what's broken and makes it beautiful. So hope that finds some that are called according to his purpose well, and take caution, take care.